motions. This table is very important. What you should notice is on the left-hand side, we have a column entitled rank, with 1 being the highest and 13 being the lowest. These are the ranks of precedence. And as you can see at the top, privileged motions are those 1 through 5, subsidiary are 6 through 12, and the main motion, the lowest, is 13. When you're before a body and no business is currently before it, someone must put some, the question to the people about what we're doing here, what we want to accomplish, what's going to be the action of all these people together collectively. So that comes in the form of a main motion. Anybody rising when there's no other business can make a main motion. For example, I can make the motion that let's order some pizza for lunch, and the body will pay for it. As you can see, the vote to pass that is a majority vote. No one can interrupt when the main motion cannot interrupt any other business. So if there's already a main motion, another main motion can't, interrupt that and come online, and it is debatable. So say I make that motion, but someone doesn't want to shell out the money of the organization to pay for pizza for lunch, so they make the motion. They get the floor. They make the motion to postpone indefinitely. And as you see, that takes a majority vote, non-interruptible, and is debatable. Well, as we pointed out earlier, to postpone indefinitely is to kill the main motion, to totally dispose of it without having to vote yes or no to that motion. So the motion to postpone indefinitely is voted on and fails. And say someone gets recognized by the chair, and they make the motion to amend. Well, it is of a higher rank. Therefore, to amend will take precedence over postpone indefinitely and the original main motion. So someone comes to the floor and they make the motion to amend the main motion by substituting, striking and adding, striking pizza and adding pasta. As you can see, that to pass would take a majority vote, non-interruptible, and is debatable. So say the amend to pasta passes. We're back to the main motion to, as amended, to have pasta instead of pizza. So now, say, for example, someone would like to refer that to a committee for further debate. So someone could rise in the discussion of the main motion and move to commit to a committee. It's at rank 10. So if it passed majority vote and debatable, a committee would be created, and this motion on what we should eat for lunch would then be referred to committee. The committee could then be called or recognized to bring its recommendation before the body, and at which time you'd be back to your main motion when they gave their committee report. The motion as it was sent to the committee would then be in order. We'll go back up these ranks here. So we talked about rank 12, postpone indefinitely, rank 11, amend, rank 10 to commit, rank 9 is to postpone to a certain time. So we could take this decision once it came back from committee and say, well, I think we will talk about this, at 11 a.m. So someone could rise and make a motion to postpone to a certain time. As you can see, it's a majority vote, non-interrupting, and debatable. And say during the debate, it's going on long, someone could rise and say, I move to limit debate to 2 minutes per person, 3 people per side. Now, since that is infringing on the individual's right to speak, it takes a 2/3 vote. So it takes more than a majority because it's infringing on the rights of the individual and maybe even a group of people who would be in a minority. So someone moves to limit the debate, and it goes to an immediate vote. No debate on this item, and it fails. So then someone rises and says, I move the previous question, which move the previous question means it kills all debate and the question to accept that postpone to a certain time would come to an immediate vote. And 2/3 vote because it's squelching the discussion, the ability for the minority to speak against the motion. And let's say that it fails. So now we're back to postpone to a certain time and say the vote comes on that and it fails. Now we're back to our main motion. Say there was a fire. So there's smoke coming out of the bathroom. And someone rises and says, let's lay this on the table and pick it back up after we figure out where the smoke is coming and we'll have a make a motion to recess after this lay on the table passes. So the lay on the table should not be confused with postpone indefinitely. Lay on the table is only used for emergency when emergency business needs to be taken up. Majority vote, non-interruptible, non-debatable. So now we're moving from our subsidiary motions into our privileged motions. Number 5 in the rankings is call for the order of the day. One member can interrupt, and it's not debatable, and say, hey, we're not following our agenda. We need to get back on our agenda, and no one here approved for deviating from our agenda. And the chairman is required to get the body back on to the business of the day. The next one up is raise a question of privilege. And that one is when an individual is unable to participate for some reason in the discussion and voting that he is entitled to as a member. He can stand and raise a question of privilege. For example, maybe he cannot hear the discussion because of some rowdy individuals or some noisy individuals in the assembly, and he can rise and interrupt any business and say, Mr. Chairman, I rise for a question of privilege. I cannot hear the speaker. Can you please bring to order this body? And the chair would have to accommodate the individual. And the next one up on the rankings is recess, a majority vote, no debate, non-interruptible, and a recess is a short break. Once you're recognized by the chairman, you can make the motion to recess for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But then say that is pending, and the vote has not been taken. Someone could rise and make the motion to adjourn. And that would have precedence. So now someone wants to just totally cancel, go home, no matter where they are in the order of business. Majority vote, non-interruptible, non-debatable. But in adjourn, you don't know when you're going to come back together again to finish the business. So, especially unless there's a standing appointment, maybe next month, then maybe that's okay. But if you're in a convention and someone moves to adjourn and you were expecting to go into the next day to work on items, someone could rise and make the motion to fix time to adjourn to tomorrow, for example. So you would adjourn, and then the next day, say tomorrow at 8 a.m., you'd come back together, and that would be a higher ranking motion. And if that passed, it would basically take care of the recess and adjourn. And you would stand down, the meeting would be adjourned until the next day. So that gives you a very quick overview of motions, and this is a very important chart to understand. The next item